I'm Martin Marks, powerful panther standing with red-bellied black snake. And it's my great honor to introduce Dr. James McLeary, one of the 2015 Founders Circle of Honor recipients. To list all of James's contributions is virtually impossible, particularly in the next few minutes. But I will give you a few of his most noteworthy accomplishments. James was initiated in October of 1992 and certified as a co-leader in 93 and then a full leader in 96. Having served more than 150 new warrior training adventures all around the world. For the past 30 years, he has been a groundbreaker for trainings in many different countries. A pathfinder for high school trainings, the Inward Journey, and the Inside Circle Foundation. James is the award-winning film director, along with his three sons, Jairus, Eon, and Miles, of the incredible documentary called The Work. When the ManKind Project experienced a crisis of inclusion many years ago, he organized and led the first weekends, which were carefully crafted to include equal numbers of non-white staff and initiates in order to create an environment of exposure to their culture. He brought MKP Brothers into many community projects in high schools and gatherings on the south side of Chicago, as well as led weekends for the counselors and youth participants of BAM, which is Becoming a Man. He organized multicultural trainings in Chicago for the certified leaders of the project, as well as helping to develop the communities in the UK and South Africa. He engineered the inclusion of Black South Africans in the first trainings there in South Africa by going into the townships and directly recruiting those men who otherwise would have been ignored. And he was also involved in the first trainings on the Lakota Pine Ridge Reservation. I've had the honor of serving with James on many training adventures, as well as most of the Inside Circle 4-day intensive trainings, which were held inside Folsom Prison, which is a level 4 maximum security facility here in California. And it was inside those prison walls that I witnessed the Beast Master. The spiritual name James was given by the convicts, doing some of the most transformational work I've ever experienced. His dedication to those men culminated with his 10-year journey to produce the award-winning documentary film called The Work, viewed by many film critics as one of the finest documentary films ever made. James has impacted the lives of literally thousands of men and women all around the world with his otherworldly facilitation, his unflinching courage, and his profound spirituality. And it is this man that I have the honor of calling my brother. And so I welcome now Dr. James McLeary into the Founders Circle of Honor. And so, James, I invite you to place the Medal of Honor on your heart and address this awesome gathering.
Thank you, Martin, and thank you, my brothers across the continent and the world. My ribbon broke, so here it is, and I'm going to set it down while I speak. I remember speaking to David Lindgren, and he asked me, what is happening in your life? Why would you come to a training? And I remember saying to him that I felt like I was behind a curtain and there was something I couldn't see or understand about who I was. And I went to that first training fully vulnerable and open to break open. Otherwise, I would have turned around and left. I would have been too angry at the people who were there to open their hearts and support me in my journey if I had not been vulnerable. And that was my first lesson. Seek to be vulnerable with the people that I come into contact with and support them in their own vulnerability. And that has been my mission since the very beginning. And it's taken me however many years since 1992 to really understand that all it takes, for me at least, is to be vulnerable and barriers can break down. My mission is to make a movement of love and surrender in the world. And I first got that help sitting in circles with men. And there was a barrier that I had to cross. It was an artificial barrier. And the tools that I got from MKP, the communication, spiritual speak, thinking and feeling that was taught to me by other men in MKP community is what has sustained me all of these adult years. My spiritual name from MKP is Father Lemur. And lemurs are nocturnal spirits who watch over the night. And my spiritual name that I have embraced finally after many years, 20 years of going into prison, is Beastmaster. And it takes the beast in us to tame the beast in others. And so no matter where I go, everyone to me is my spiritual brother and sister, my spiritual son and daughter, my spiritual father and mother, my spiritual sister and brother. And I finally have realized through doing this work by these men who supported me for many years in MKP, so that I feel totally congruent in that place. And so there's not much more to say. It's but to say aho to my brothers out there all over the world who are listening to this. Miss you. I'm having a great time living in sunny California, not too far from Mr. Martin Marks. And I say thank you, and I feel blessed and grateful. And ashay, I'm in.